2. I gotta like figure out where to start to begin to open this. What? Oh. So I got the fly mark combo, and this is what comes in the fly mark combo. Starting off, we got the traveling bag. We have the Mavric Air 2, the drone itself, very small and compact. Oh my gosh, there's just so much more specs. I'm gonna have to go more into details with this. We have the controller itself, very good in my hands, very well in my hands, and I have pretty medium-sized hands, so I'm pretty content about that. Got the scrolling wheel, got the film button, oh my gosh, and the joysticks are right at the bottom, so I just gotta take those out and then pop them right on top on the side. And of course, we got the chargers here, so this is for your phone, and if you want to use it for a different phone, like a Samsung or an iPhone, or even something that still has micro USB, you'll still have it through here, so that's pretty in handy. Batteries. Now, one battery is already here, but I do have these two extra, and these ones are going to help me get around. Considering that the battery time is like, what, 32 minutes of flight time? Now we have the DJI Power Core here, and this is what's gonna charge the rest of the stuff. So, plugs in, based off with this cord too, and if I'm just looking at it for the first time, it just plugs in as that. There we go, took me a second, but I got it. We also do have the AC power cable, and this is gonna be directly towards the controller, so that's gonna charge the controller. And if you're not too familiar, it's also the same as Samsung, so if you're a Samsung user, it's pretty much the same. It's the C port, so I do have my backup propellers and the main propellers, so not the fact that there's any difference really, but yeah, propellers. Now we have the charging hub. Now this is what's gonna be plugged by one side corner, just as shown. And I'm gonna be able to put 3 batteries charging all at once. So we have a battery to power bank adapter. So I'm not 100% sure how to use this yet because I'm just looking at this. But as my understanding, being plugged in, it's just the adapter to use USB, I'm assuming, so I don't know. I'd have to explain more into details once I figure more about this. ND filters. I have the ND filters here. Now there's different shadings of ND filters here, starting with 16, 64, 256. Pretty much ND filters are just sunglasses, but for your camera. It's usually best for bright light, bright daylight, just really harsh light. Now the control sticks, as I just mentioned, we have the control sticks inside here, but in case if those get lost, I do have a backup one, and that's really great to have. Last but not least, which is very important, and yes, I want to say it's important, we have the manual, whether if it's going to be the quick guide or even the longer version. Now I know most of you guys do not like reading manuals, and I don't blame you, but for things like this, if you buy something that's over $100, I'd probably suggest you read the manual because you don't want to mess something up. This here was $999. After taxes, let's just say it was about $1,100. And last but not least, we have my SIM card, and that's going to be the 128 gigabytes. The best part about this drone, it does have 8 gigabytes of internal storage, so if I were to forget the SIM card, I'd have at least 8 gigabytes worth to just film and use that, which is a few shots here and there, which is not bad. And then you just transfer your footage and dump it out quick and you're set. Go ahead and take a good look at this again. It took me a while to set this up. I actually don't do overshots. This is the first time I'm actually doing it for this review. You know, it's a first, you know? Okay, let's go fly it. Anyways, the goal is I need to start it on, turn it on, and synchronize everything. I need to give it updates. I gotta just do all that basic stuff, and that's what we're doing right now. Put the knobs in. Oh, we're in for sure. Connect aircraft. I got the Mavric Air 2. Got that. Let's hear this. And now it's just restarting because it's a process of updates. Battery firmware update. As I told you, gotta go through an update. While you guys are this far within the video, please like and subscribe if you haven't already, or hit the bell notification so you can get notified about our upcoming videos, because I'm gonna be using this a lot. Yes, let's go. What else do we need done? What? You gotta be kidding me. Okay, I don't know what's going on right now because I'm just now trying this out, so I'm gonna move this in the middle so that way I don't accidentally fly off in the most dumb way.
Perform a safety check before you fly.
Alright, yep. Making sure all the routers are clicked in perfectly. That is great. Everything is all needed for that.
Learn how to take off.
Oh, I know how to take off. I just need to get it started, so let's turn it on.
Take off.
That's amazing! We're going outside. That is amazing. First takeoff, which is fine. I just wanted to do it in here just to give it a shot. Now that we've tried that, we're going outside. Yes. Oh, this is so dope! So first of all, while we're outside, I do gotta apologize if there's cars passing by. It's because I'm outside. I feel as if no one hasn't really explained this in the tutorials about this drone, so I do want to start off with this. How to put the ND filters on when you're about to put this on your DJI Mavric Air 2. I do remember when I first did this for the first time, it feels very sketchy. Do not get me wrong, it really does. And you will feel very hesitant on to put it on. But let me show you the correct way. First of all, before we do that, how to take the gimbal protector off the gimbal itself. Just as simple, you want to go ahead and apply pressure with your thumb around this lower area in particularly, and you want to press inwards while pulling upwards. Don't forget, take your time, you don't want to rush. You don't want to force it too hard to accidentally really hit your gimbal here. That's something you don't want to do. Afterwards, while we're here, might as well show you how to put it back on. With the two hooks on the top, you want to go ahead and align it, but you want to make sure that your gimbal is aligned and straight forward. After doing so, go ahead and reverse the process when you took it off by applying pressure with your thumb back to the same spot so that way it clicks on. You should be able to hear it click, and if you hear it click, you did it right. So back to having it off, let's go ahead and put the ND filters on. Go ahead and choose which ND filter you want to use, whether if it's going to be the 16, 64, or 256. My preference, because of the time, I'm going to go ahead and use the 16. However, depending where you are, double check to see what ND filter you should be using depending on where you are and what your situations are. To insert the ND filter, you want to go ahead and take off the first layer, which is pretty much the casing. What I do best is take the back rotors and flip them back in on having the drone to have better balance while you do this process. If the drone is facing you, it's towards the left. If the drone is facing away from you, it's towards the right. From removing there, go ahead and apply the same settings but reverse and put your ND filter, rather if it's a 16, 64, or 256. As you can see with those 4 holes, they align together and they have a locking mechanism, and go ahead and twist it back to its place, therefore you're back to where you left off. And that's how you put the ND filters on. Again, I understand, it's very hesitant to try it, and don't worry, it took a couple tries to understand that it's really easy to do. It feels like it's not, and if you feel like it's too tight, just remember, don't try very hard. Take your time and make sure you do this properly because you don't want to mess this up. Let's go ahead and talk about more details about this drone that I think that you would want to know. So as my understanding, this drone has 10 sensors. We got 4 on the wings, 2 in the front, 2 in the back, and 2 directly at the bottom. With the yellow sensor looking thing in the middle, that's actually going to be the LED light for when you're landing either in the dark or if you just need to see your drone from way up high and you want a really bright light to show your drone. Let's talk about the ultra clear details here. It does have a 1-inch image sensor, along with shooting at 1080p, 2.7K, or 4K. With photos, you can shoot at 12 megapixels for RAW, but if you're okay with JPEG and you're not looking into color correction majorly heavy, you also have 48 megapixels. which will come out into JPEG. It does have enhanced HDR, whether if you're filming in HDR or taking photos in HDR. The best part is, it also has panorama. So you can pan from left to right or in a full 360 degree, and you can literally get a huge shot here. Within its cinematic content, you have 8K hyperlapse, and you also have quick shots. What quick shots are, if you're a beginner into flying a drone, you're capable of just getting quick shots, rather if it's going to be orbit shots around the subject, tracking shots, or even following shots. Along with even having it on tripod mode, which allows it to stay in place and follow you directly, whether if you're going left or right or going in circles. As I mentioned earlier, it has 32. No, I'm just kidding. It actually has 34 minutes of flight time. As for the RC, remote control, battery life is 240 minutes. Now with the sensors, it does has APAS 3.0 obstacle avoidance. Now what that means is just way better at just detecting obstacles around you, from people to moving objects, even trees. But be cautious, it can be a little bit different when it comes for branches, because branches are a lot smaller and they're harder to detect. That can also go on behalf of wires. So if you're flying next to wires, please be careful, because it's a possibility it could censor it, but they're so thin that it's very hard to miss it. As for its video's transmission, it uses OcuSync 2.0, which is at 10 kilometers at 1080p at 30 frames per second. And if you're in America, 10 kilometers is really 6.2 miles. And if you're still not sure how far 6.2 miles is, if you've seen a normal standard field trek that goes 400 meters, maybe at a school or a college you might have seen it, 4 laps of that equals 1 mile. So imagine doubling that, and that's how long 10 kilometers is, or 6.2 miles. As for the profile modes, you do have just 2, which is the normal mode or the cine like D mode. Flat profile gives you more dynamic range for cinematic shots that you're quietly looking for, or for just better heavy color correction, color grading, and all the adjustments you would like to go for. You can also film in MP4 or even in .mov. You can also film in H.264 and also H.265, which at H.265 you can get better dynamic range, less storage used, and better details within your footage. So the last thing I'm going to talk about is the dual frequency. As for the dual frequency, you can use a 2.4 or a 5.8. For that, would just boost your signal for when you're filming your content. So there you have it. That's pretty much going to be all for me. I know there's way more details that could be going along with this drone, but I don't want to make this video way too long, and I feel like that should be good for another separate video, most likely preferably as an update video. There will be more future updates, and I am really psyched to see what else they're going to be doing. But thank you very much guys for watching this video. I hope this actually gave you some better information about your new Mavric Air 2, or even if you're just trying to invest in to see if you're trying to upgrade from your Mavric Air, the Mavric Pro, the Pro 2, any other drone that you may have but you're looking for an upgrade. I think this is a really good one that you should definitely invest into. Anyways, that is all. I am about to head out. Thank you for tuning in into this video, and if you made it this far, I appreciate you guys. If you can, go ahead and like the video. You don't have to subscribe, I'm not going to force you to, but I do prefer you to subscribe. However, comment if there's any other questions that you would like to know, because I want to break this in more into details for you guys out there. Me personally, I have a hard time learning, but I definitely, when I do, I like to make other people learn with a little bit more ease and comfort. That is all, and I'll see you next time.